Life has its hurdles. We're human. These things happen. Sometimes these things are just completely out of our control. And yeah, we know that. But it's important that, as a creator, a builder, or an artist, or even an entrepreneur, it is important that through times of peril, or there are times when it seems like it's chaos, or times of when you're feeling down, or whatever is going on with you emotionally, it's important to cipher whether it is a productive time to create, or is it really just a good time to take a step back and just simmer with what's going on, or ponder, or give some thought or reflection about what it is that you may be thinking about, or something that you may be going through. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this episode. This is myself, Kani, with I'm gonna be interviewing my homeboy, the co-host of the Sanford podcast, Gemini.The.Leo. Now let's go ahead and get into the episode. This is Sanford podcast.
Hey guys, you are now tuned in into the Sanford podcast for the culture. So I need you to stop scrolling, open up your eye, and tune in.
Thank you. This is the one and only Kani of the Sanford podcast. I'm here with my motherfucking co-host.
This is Gemini.The.Leo. How y'all doing out there?
Yeah, we're here to talk about something really. I feel like this is a good topic. I feel like this is a good topic because again, we're exploring the realms of creativity, and we only just trying to bring things based upon our experiences, or what has worked for us and what doesn't work for us. But it's not to say it's not going to work for you. But yeah, we're going to explore the ideas of like when is the best time to create. Like, when is it the best time to get your art out as a creative, depending on, hold on a second. As an artist, is it important to create when you're in an emotional state? Like in terms of like when you're very angry, or you're very sad? Or is it best that we take a step back and reflect on what it is that we're going through, so we can put ourselves in the best mood in order to produce the best form of art that we feel that that is capable of showing to the public. So Gemini.The.Leo, man, you being a poet, when do you find the best time to create for yourself? Like, what is your process for creating, or when do you feel like it's a good time to create when you're writing poetry?
So, I mean, for me, 9 times out of 10 I'll go to write, like I find myself in like a dark place. Like, I'm probably like going through something, whatever the case may be, and it's like, if I'm by myself, then it's like, yeah, definitely, like, I need to write this out, because thinking about it is doing too much. Like, it's not supporting. So it's like, like when you have a conversation with another person, that helps you filter out your thoughts. But when you write it down, if you don't got another person there, you could write it down, reflect on it, look at what it is that you wrote, and like sift through whatever it is that you're going through. Also, like, it's always a good time to write. You know, it just depends on like what your situation is. Like if I got my phone, I'm on a train. If a thought pops up, or if I'm like in a good mood, whatever the case may be, I could be in any mood. If like the feeling pops up, pull out my phone, start typing. You know, if I got the pad, start writing.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, I can speak for myself. Whenever, like, for instance, like, I feel like, I hope this doesn't sound, too not conceited or pessimistic in a way, because of the fact that I view the world from a different kind of lens. I feel like everybody has their own world, and the reason I feel like everybody has their own world is based upon their perception on it. That's what creates our own world. So it's like, I feel like in some form of way, there's times when I'm looking at people and I feel like they're just props, part of a whole stage, and I feel like when I see certain things going on, usually 9 times out of 10 when I'm in creative flow, I usually see something that's happening outside of myself, and that can inspire or spark my creativity. It may be a lot of fuck shit that's going on. It may be something productive. It may be something positive. But for the most part, in terms like what's going on with me internally, when I usually with something going on internally, I try to force myself to create, because I feel like at that time that that raw gritty emotion that I have can bring out a different side of my writing, something I need to be exposed to as an artist. I need to see different sides of myself. But yeah, I noticed that that process works for me as well as when I'm commuting. Because not for nothing, I commute. I use the trains a lot, and I feel like that's the best downtime, either for me to take in information or to get out, or to a form of just getting things out, or just a form of reflection. That's what I love about commuting. See, I feel like if you live in New York City, there's no real reason as to why the fuck you even need a car. We have all these fucking buses. We have all these fucking trains. I know things is going up, but it's actually, I feel like it's a little bit more cost effective to do that. But I'm getting beside the point. The thing is that you need to find pockets of time for you to create. You need to expose yourself to different kind of elements, environments, things, or people, places, and things in order to spark and drive your creation. So when it comes to an emotional state, I feel like that is the best time to create. But sometimes I think it is also needed that you do need to take a step back and reflect. Despite that, I do believe in it, but I'm trying to get past that, because I feel like by me getting past that, and when I'm going through something emotional, or the case may be, especially if it's anger or sadness, I feel like I really need to buckle down. Like, you know what? Something's going on with me. I just need to get it out. And once I get it out, I can come back to it maybe a day or two later and look at what was what I was going through. And believe it or not, that can help, because depending on what's going on, you can use that. Depending on what kind of artist you are. See, there's all different types of artists. We're gonna cover that in another episode. But depending on what kind of artist you are, it could be beneficial to your craft and your project, or whatever it is that you may be working on. So, but again, just giving you my own opinion on that, because I'm just a student of the process.
I ain't gonna lie, like I definitely agree with you about that, because like a lot of the times, like some people take advantage of that train ride, because like when I'm traveling on trains, I could be on average like a 45 minute to an hour ride. That's a lot of time if you think about it to create. Like,
you can get
especially if you find a seat.
Oh, you find that seat, you good.
There ain't nothing else to talk about. It's like, like I'm comfortable. Let me get myself set up in my little pocket right here.
Yep.
And then just go to work. Pop them earphones in and do what you got to do. And I found myself doing a lot of that. Like some people, unfortunately don't get the benefit of catching service underground. I listen to like different podcasts on YouTube or whatever the case may be on my phone while I'm underground. So if I'm listening to YouTube, I could be sitting there thinking up something else, or like I'm reading. Like because we talked about this before. Like I like to multitask, and
right.
If I'm sitting there reading, I could be like listening to music or whatever the case may be. Sometimes I could get distracted, but at the same time, like I'm watching my environment or the people around me. I'm looking at the boards, getting like creative thoughts from stuff like that. How many donuts I could find on the picture. You feel me? Another thing is too, because that alone time is definitely needed for any creator.
Facts.
For any creator, you're gonna need that time to yourself. You know, and for me, one of those times is when you're on a train by yourself. And the other two times is right before you go to sleep and right when you wake up. Because those are the two times out the day that I really am strongly reflecting. You know, so right before I go to bed, I'm thinking about like what's going on in my day, like what could have been better, where I may have caused error on somebody else, or like who else done harm towards me, or whatever the case may be. You know, and the next morning after, you know, my dreams, because sometimes my dreams manifest those things too. You know, I wake up, reflect on whatever my dreams are, and reflect on how my energy feels today. Like when I wake up today, how do I feel? Do I still feel the same way I did yesterday about whatever the case may have been that was bothering me? Because today's a new day. So now it's like, all right, moving forward, what can be done today? You know, like what am I out there to create today?
I feel you. Oh man, you hit the head on there with that. I want to ask you, so despite that, and we I think we came down to the understanding that, you know, solitude is very important, and whenever you can find that solitude, you can create. I feel like, you know, that's definitely a perfect time and place to definitely go into deep work. I like that term, deep work. I've been reading this book, if you ever get a chance. I've been reading this book by this author named Cal Newport. He writes this book called Deep Work. And the importance of it is the fact that, you know, because of the fact that we're so distracted, we got so many things going on, notifications popping off, the outside world, the news, you know, of course, you know, social media and things like that. But he was saying that, you know, we never find, or we never create time to get into deep work or work on our craft or hone in on our skills or, you know, tackle them projects. He says that, you know, it's very important. So I'm still like reading that book because I always keep going back to it as a point of reference. For all artists, please, I recommend, and I tell y'all, please, if y'all can, get this fucking book. I don't care what form you get in audio, ebook, soft cover, hard cover, however you need to get this book. Get that book in your hands. It's very important that you get it in your hands and then make time to read the book, because once you start reading it, I promise you, you will not regret it. You're not going to regret it at all. And I feel like it's not just for artists as well. I feel like it can be for people who's even working the 9-to-5s. You know, just finding time to like, you know, sit down and figure out what your goals are and inspiring towards your goals and finding out the steps that you need to take. Again, it's all about creating that time and space to find reflection and to find the time to not only work on yourself, but work on your art. So, but yeah. But one question I want to ask you, Gemini, is what is it outside of, you know, solitude? What else, you know, may have an influence or an impact on you creating your poetry? Well, I think, you know, me being your best friend, if you don't mind, I want to throw out a few things. Me being your best friend, I know that, you know, people definitely play a big role in my son's life right here. People play a big ass fucking role. Like, but for the most part, you know, it's important because we all establish different kinds of relationships with people for specific reasons. People are in our lives for specific reasons, and people leave out of our lives for specific reasons. People come and go. It's just the way of flow of things. It's just the way things go. But it's important to know that, you know, why these people are coming into our lives. And if we can look at this, if we could look at it from that perspective, as an artist, if we could look at it from that perspective as an artist, that we could know what the lessons are and what we need to extract from these experiences with these different people that come in and out of our lives. And especially the people that come in our lives and stay in our lives too. Maybe they're meant to be there for a reason. Maybe they're meant to be the staple that we need in our fucking lives in order to move forward. Because sometimes, you know, I don't want to get into no spirituality because everybody got different spiritual perspectives. Yeah. But well, let's just keep it on that. But
I was gonna say, like, because I mean, and again, like, not to go too deep into it, but like, one of the things that I do believe is that everything happens for a reason. Whether you know it or not, if it happened, it happened. It couldn't have happened any other way. it was just meant to. Because you can't change the past. Once the past has happened, it's happened. All you could do is what you can do about that today, like currently, right now, and try to make change for the future. Because technically, you can't change the future either, because the future hasn't happened. It's all dependent on what you're doing, like right now. You know? So... And like you're absolutely right, because the first thing I thought, it was like, damn, you know, people do affect my writing. Like I think I was telling you that the last time. It's like it just depends on like whatever I might be going through, circumstances, whatever the case may be. But that's like the other part that plays the other biggest role. It's like whatever my life drama might be at the time. You know, like whatever I might be going through don't necessarily have to do with people. It could be the struggle with family. It could be like trying to balance a work life, social life, you know. It could be just a number of things, you feel me? Like, okay, but for the most part, yeah, like I would say like the aspects of a personal life, trying to maintain social stability, and at the same time like a work life, you know, because right now I'm finding myself more indebted, I guess, towards my work, but then like when it comes to the social life, it's like I kind of don't got time for that. But then it's like when I do got time, nobody got time, and it's like well, okay, I guess back to work. You know, like I used to have a friend of mine, she used to tell me all the time, it's like, yo, like you always working, like you always doing some type of work. I'm like that, I got goals, like I got a mission. Like to me, like there's certain things that I want to do and I want to accomplish, that, you know, I move at my own speed, you know, and then like if I feel like I want to stop, take a break, pump the gas, you feel me, like pump the brakes on whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm in the driver's seat, so I'm going to do that. I don't need the person in the passenger side kicking on the brakes for me or trying to step on the gas to make me go.
Right,
you know?
right. That's crazy.
But yeah, so you know, like it's like currently, right? So like I've been trying to like write. I don't think I told you too, because I think I had mentioned it before, but like this book that I wanted to write, and when I first started writing some of it, it was based off, you know, like personal relations, right? But now like I went to go edit and add some stuff the other day, and then I was thinking about that today, and I'm like, my mind state ain't even there. Like when I'm trying to tell a story, I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna have to add that as a little side piece later on, because like my energy is just not linking with what I was trying to write. So it's like I'm not in that state of mind where I can view that same situation and be able to dive into it, you know? Right. So it's like what I'm trying to convey in the writing, I don't feel. Right. So it's like, I'm gonna have to come back to this later.
I think that, you know, as artists, you know, a lot of people, some people are aware of their influences, and there are people who really aren't aware of their motherfucking influences. And once you have that under grasp, and once you really do understand that, you know what you want to keep in your life and what you don't want to keep in your life as well. Because, again, you do have the power to keep these people in your life and not keep them in your life. And once you understand that you do have that control, that's when you can start doing the process of elimination, or you can start trimming the fucking fat, because we don't need the fucking extra baggage.
Just looking for that protein, that lean meat.
Exactly. Like, yo, we need to get to the fucking fiber, nigga.
That's a fact.
So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, it's very important to realize what you have control over and what you don't have control over. And from there, it's imperative to keep this awareness and just to drive and move fucking forward and know what you want in your life, and again, what you don't want in your life. You have to have a real concise, I think, a real blueprint of what your life what you want your life to be, especially as an artist. But yeah.
And not only that, but be able to, you know, like, again, not being religious, but understand the concept of the things that you just can't change and accept that. You know, like come to the acceptance of certain things are kind of out of your control, and it's like, you know, just learn to let them go. Right. Either that, or just if you really want to make it happen, then make it happen. Manifest it.
So speaking of which, so I want to bring up something. There's a dope project out right now. I've been listening to it quite a bit, and in fact, there's going to be a project that's going to drop tomorrow, which is going to be pretty dope as well. But Kid Cudi and Kanye West dropped an album called Kids See Ghosts. Fire. 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 Holy shit, that shit was fire. Pusha T's album, I have to give that a rating because I didn't really get a chance to like really talk about it too much. Only thing I focused on the fact that it was that cover art, and as an artist, I felt like that was a little controversial. We covered that in not last episode, but the episode before that. I believe that's episode 6. We covered that in episode 6 about what is good music.
Indeed.
So but yeah, so it's imperative to realize that kind of influence that you want to have on the world and what you need to do to be that influence. It's very imperative, very 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 imperative. But so yeah, man. So like I'm doing now.
Is it me? Like, cause I'm seeing some art right now, and that's looking like a giant snake head. Like, do you see that shit?
On the screen?
Yeah, the cave. The cave looks like a snake head.
Oh yeah, Netflix is something else.
Like that's that Stranger Things shit. I'm looking like shit look like a cobra, like with his mouth open about to eat old boy. And I'm like, it's just a cave, but abstract thinking. It's
Right.
all a matter of how you see it. It's your perspective.
So let me ask you something. So altogether, I never got a really good chance to get your perspective on this. What do you think about culture and what what do you think about like hip hop culture, the state that it's in right now? I know you don't really dabble with the social media, and my son don't have no social media. He doesn't do the social media. I'm trying to get him into social media, but he just doesn't do the social media. But for the most part, outside of that, because I understand how you can operate your world outside of social media. No, but of course you can. But I'm just saying, like, outside of that, the news that you come across, with the people that you interact with, and things that you hear, and things that you come across on YouTube and things like that. Like, what do you think about the state of hip hop, the culture, so the hip hop culture?
So like, I can tell you like because I'm an '80s baby. You feel me? I grew up in the '90s. And the hip hop era, from what I grew up listening to from like when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, to the transition of Big and Tupac taking over, to where hip hop started being more about the streets. Like you could see almost every decade there's a whole another brand of what hip hop means to the culture.
Right.
And right now the way that the hip-hop genre has, I guess, manifested itself is according to what the times are now. Like, if you're under the age of 25, I think the culture more so relates towards you. Because anybody over 25 is like, all right, like, it's not saying that we can't relate to it, but that's not the kind of stuff that we grew up in. You feel me? Like, if you're over 25, you're probably more so part of like whatever it is that your business and stuff is. But no, it's a different kind of understanding. Like when you're young, without too many like too much shit on your plate. You feel me? Like music can play a heavy influence. You out with your friends, y'all vibing. Like it speaks to whatever it is, the dimensions on the time that you're growing up in, and it's different, man. Like, from the styles of the clothes to the way that people rap, mumble rapping became a thing. That was never a thing.
Now, do you look down on it? Or
no,
do you
I definitely don't look down on it. I look at it like it's another way of somebody finding a way to make themselves different. And not only did they make themselves different, they made themselves famous for it. So, and then it became a thing.
You know what I realized? Because because I know you're not on social media. There's a lot of people that be ranting and be calling like, "Yo, these mumble rappers this and mumble rappers that," right? But see, but peep it though. It's funny you mentioned that because it's like you're saying this mumble rapper this, mumble rapper that, but the thing is that you don't understand their form of art. That's the reason, only reason you're saying it, because you come from a different generation. Yeah, I come from a different generation of hip hop too. In fact, I'm from the, I say it like this, and people laugh at it every time I say it. I'm from the G Unit era, okay? I'm from the G Unit era where at one point 50 had the whole industry on lock.
50 came out, like,
you understand, like
everything.
He brought a certain kind of vibe that a lot of people wasn't really too used to. Like he really gave you like an introspective, deep look into I guess what a criminal lifestyle is about in terms of what he was living at that time and what he was going through. So it's like I do understand that, and I'm all for that. But it seems like with the music nowadays, I find myself at one point I almost found myself saying this, yeah, fuck these mumble rappers, and I realized I'm like, what the fuck am I? And then I came to realize like that was not fair, because it's like I was not really given the chance, or what I was not even listening to the music in order for me to be like, you know what? Let me see what the fuck this nigga is. Let me see what they talking about. Like, now I will say this: a lot of the lyrics that they do say, like, I can't really relate to it. I understand, they speaking from a place of experience and their circumstances, whatever the case may be, and things that they just indulge in, things that's just going on around them, things that their friends is into, and so on and so forth. I can't relate to that. And the most I can relate to is smoking weed. Like, I past that, you lost me after that. I can't talk about anything after smoking weed. Like, smoking weed, my little LQ, which is liquor, and what it can be. Like, I fucks with that. But once it goes past that, I can't relate to it. However, I don't look down on it. You know what I mean? To each his own at the end of the day. But I would say that upon me giving some listen to a lot of the new generation music, of what people want to say quote unquote mumble rappers, first and foremost, there's not a lot of mumble rappers, just to let y'all niggas know. A lot of people saying that everybody's a damn mumble rapper. This whole new generation is really not a mumble rapper. If you just shut the fuck up and just sit down, listen to it, and listen, you can actually hear what the fuck they're saying. You don't need a special kind of vibration or frequency to try to interpret or decipher what they're saying or what the new young generation of rappers are saying. You may not agree with what they're saying. It doesn't take a rocket science to hear and listen to exactly what it is that they're saying. So I say that to say this is just shut the fuck up, sit down, and give their music a chance, and you just might enjoy it. Me, I always fall in love with the fucking beat. The beat just be so fucking... I don't know who these producers are. I feel like these motherfuckers probably got spawned out of a whole nother dimension or something like that, because their beats be out of this world. Like, some of these beats are so fucking retarded. It's not even funny. Like, retarded in the good sense. So,
I wanted to say, too, like, it's like, for one, if, like, say somebody that has stutters, you feel me, want to become a rapper, y'all gonna downplay that man? You feel me? That's just how he talk.
Right.
You feel me? And he's trying to make a way for himself.
Right.
So it's like, and then like, you never know, like his music might be good. But like, what, you gonna shit on him because he can't complete a word properly? You feel me? Like, some people got raw deep voices. You feel me? And some people got high pitched voice. Not only that, but like, if you think about it too, like when auto tunes came out, everybody act like that was a new thing. That wasn't new. That was something from way back. It's just that not a lot of people did it. And then when it came back and Kanye was doing it, you feel me? And then other people started doing it. Then people started shitting on
you feel like
Kanye and everybody.
Blew it up?
He didn't necessarily blow it up, but he did make it sound interesting.
With the 808s and Heartbreak,
That's
right? That was like classic.
808s and Heartbreaks was sounding fire. That's like with people that rap fast. It's like when my son Twister came out, but like he wasn't the original speed rapper. You feel me? Like,
that's funny.
You had
said
Busta,
that.
You had some other people that was out there that could rap fast.
No. Well, not even rapping fast. Now you spark my interest in terms of people who had different kinds of flows and things like that as well. So when you said Twister, I don't know why all of a sudden E40 popped in my head.
Yeah, E40 is another like brand of his own type of music.
And his lingo game be crazy. Like, he just be creating lingo. He just creates it, and people just go and run with it. So it's just very interesting.
Like, for me, not only that, but it's like how you were saying. Like, I also am the type to fall in love with the beat. You feel me? If the beat could catch my attention, then I'll give the song a shot, because like the lyrics might not make sense to me, and I might not necessarily agree with what's being said. It's not even about even agreeing with it. It's like I can't necessarily relate to what you're talking about, but like just the way that you're telling your life story, it's like, oh, okay, my man. It's like, I hear you. You feel me? It's like going back to 50, like Many Men. You feel me? My son was telling his story, like, but the flow is fire. It was like that song was like, shit.
That flow was like, yeah, that flow was It's like he was really trying to sing. He was really like trying to talk to your soul. Like, yo, listen, niggas want me dead, boy. I don't think
like,
you
feel
understand.
me? Because it's like, yo, it's a song, but it's really storytelling. He's on storytelling, like, yo, like, I'm telling you, like, yo, this is what happened to me.
Right.
Like, let me tell you what happened. Play the music, and then go from there. And if you think about it, like, that's also somewhat like an original method, because Will Smith did storytelling, like the Fresh Prince theme song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a song, but it's storytelling. Slick Rick, storytellers. Like, there's different methods of conveying what you're trying to say. It just depends on how you want to do it. Because
So you feel like storytelling has always been a prominent
it's always had a prominent role in how the message gets across in hip hop. Yeah.
Okay.
You feel me? From every story, like Big, same thing. Party and bullshit, bro. Come on, like, you feel me? Like, my son was storytelling, but it was just the vibe was right.
Facts. The vibe was definitely there. There's no disputing that. The vibe was definitely there. But yeah, man. So this has been like, we more likely going to explore this topic again. If in fact we may try to do a part 2 to this, but it's important again that we realize the importance of creativity, and when it's important to create, the circumstances of that creation in terms of like, how are you feeling emotionally, where you at, who's influencing your art. But yeah, it's important to see that, and then also sort of like not do a comparison, but sort of measure up a little bit as to you have to have something, you have to measure something. I realize something, and it is a form of comparison. It's going to be a little hypocritical. When you come out with your art, you always have to measure it with something. I feel like there's a system. I read this in this book a while ago called Ego's Enemies. Pretty good. In fact, I'm still reading it now. But there's this part in the book where I read, there's this guy, he uses this method with MMA fighters. He calls it the plus minus equal system. So the plus minus equal system is that, you have to have something below you, like something that you don't want to ever have your art next to. Like, I don't ever want my art being like this, right? You always have to have a minus system, like, no, I don't ever want something like this. And it doesn't mean that you have to be bashing it or nothing like that. You know that everybody has their process and their journey, and you know that they're probably just starting out, and it's only a matter of time before they evolve as an artist. It's all about evolution. However, that's the minus system. So the equal system meaning like, somebody who is always going to be like on your level. I have a feeling I'm wording this shit correctly, but I'm just sort of paraphrasing a little bit. So the equal system is like somebody who's on your level and somebody who's like pretty much doing what you're doing. Now, the plus system is something that you're inspiring to be, something that you like, okay, this is where I want to be, or even higher than that. Once I have it more slowed down, pack, I'm gonna leave that part, that those notes in the show notes in terms of the plus, minus, and equal system. I feel like that's very important to have or to know. So I'm definitely gonna leave that inside the show notes so you can like sort of like read that over.
Yeah, I got a comparison for that, because you know what that made me think of? Like a pull-up bar. Like, as if you think about it, it's like where you start off in the start-off position, you under the bar. But you don't want to be under the bar. Your goal is to get over that bar. If anything, at least meet right in the middle. Meet right where that bar is. Be equal right there.
Now, where's equal? Is that nose level, eye level?
Oh, nah. Equal is like right there. Your head over the bar, shoulder length. But if you could pull yourself with your whole head up over that.
Yeah, like with your chest up to the bar type shit.
Chest to the bar, yeah. That's like dumb. You made it.
Yeah.
You made it. If you the type to be able to like throw yourself over the bar.
That's Superman.
Even better. That's the motivation. It's like, like I'm just striving to be better. Not only did I meet and go above, I went beyond.
Facts.
So
again, I'm here with my co-host Gemini.The.Leo. This is motherfucking Kani. You are listening to the Sanford podcast, and but yeah, we're not done with you yet. So go ahead and enjoy these vocals by Gemini.The.Leo.
Empty the thoughts that plague my mind. X's and O's seem the easiest to find. Irrational and objective, my brain thinks. Things that just don't make any sense. guarding tight what I hold dear, eclipsed behind that of love and tears. Mental projections of what could be true, involved more deeper than I ever knew. Needing to resist my urges so pure, in need of control, clarity, a cure. Engulfed between emotions that turn the tides. Never expected you to enter my life. The reason for newfound hope and happiness. Escaping reality for the belief of bliss. Reflecting on the days recent and past. Can you say that we both had a blast? All the things that I felt were true. Now it's done, the feelings subdued. Call it what you will when we're both gone. Embodiments of love, spiritual and strong. Revolve in time and wish us to carry on. Exit Gemini, enter Cancer.